Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Leading Change. I have Ryan with me, and my name is Emma, and we're going to be talking through the idea of rising costs on the servicing side of distribution today. But before I get to all the questions that I've got for you, Ryan, can you give everybody an introduction?
Yep. How are you, Emma? Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
My name is Ryan Mathisen. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Glovebox. I'm also a former agency owner. We had a family agency out of Denver, Colorado. So that is me.
Well, great. And I appreciate you joining me for the conversation today. And what I want to do to get started is kind of go back to that teaser that I just gave on the front end, that we're going to be kind of talking about the rising cost of servicing. So when you are out talking with agents, talking to them about like trends that they're seeing, what are you hearing? And like, what is the general sentiment around servicing policies?
Yeah, I think, and I always kind of set a baseline for what we saw at our agency, but that was back in 2018. Service was a lot at that point, and we were at an inflection point in the business where, clients didn't want to call and email for everything, but they still did because that was what was available to them. Stats show 90% of people will go to the website first, and if they can't solve it, they're going to call you. And so that's where we were at in 2018, 2019. Fast forward to today and look at the hard property market, and auto rates are just as bad, in my opinion. What it's done is it's layered on this other set of servicing challenges in our space that is really high touch, where the customer needs to be nurtured, on top of all the other service stuff that we were already dealing with in the past. And what it's created is tons of need at the agency level, and they are bursting at the seams. We talk to 20 to 30 agencies a week, and the sentiment across the board is, we want to grow, but we can't really grow until we figure out the service piece. And again, we're kind of bursting at the seams at that part right now. So that's kind of what we're seeing currently.
So I guess when you then start to talk to these agency owners or anybody that's like facing this problem, they're like, okay, we're bursting at the seams. What are they doing to counteract it? Or what have you seen most of them do to try and balance it?
Yeah, it pains me. They are bringing the service to their salespeople. So they're having their agents do a lot of service work. And I've never really met an agency owner that likes that approach, but that's the reality of it is, hey, it's all hands on deck. Agents need to help with servicing. We've talked to some agencies where they're like, our agents are spending almost 100% of their day just on service work, but yet the agency then says they want to grow 15% this year. It's like, that's not going to happen if your salespeople are doing service work. And really, this is all because there's just not enough talent in the industry on the account management side of the house. It's very difficult to find good people at that role. It's a tough position to train, and it's a tough position to keep because those people are getting screamed at all day long. It's just a very, very difficult thing to create stability at your agency. And so again, they're passing it over to their agents. And that in itself is a whole nother problem. So that's kind of the Band-Aid right now.
So I guess then we're talking about how it pains us to take that approach and think through it that way. What suggestions are you giving to agency owners on different approaches to take? Where do you think that there's opportunity for us to like shake up this mentality of like, let's just throw more bodies at the problem, so to speak? Like, I guess what would be your suggestions?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple suggestions that we always give when it comes to agencies. And I think it's the first thing they need to do is get their mindset in a way of not all servicing needs to go one way or the other. It's not a one size fits all, right? There's different levels to service. And it's kind of my hybrid approach that I teach agencies. Some of it is what we call tier 1. There's some tier 2 stuff. And then the tier 3 stuff is like the really high touch items. So first things first, you need to look at your different workflows with your clients when it comes to service. Is it a low touch kind of quick service item like an ID card or a quick endorsement or a bill pay or, kind of the quick express stuff, if you will? That goes into a bucket, right? Second tier, you've got, hey, I need to file a claim and I need to talk about it, right? Things like that, or maybe more intricate endorsements that need to be discussed on the policy. That's going to go into the second bucket. Then in the third bucket, you've got your remarkets, right? Or your clients that are cross-selling that want new coverage and they want to talk about it. That's really the stuff that you want to free up your staff's time to be able to work on, really the tier 2, but the tier 3s. And so it's segmenting that client experience from a service experience and really understanding, hey, how can I create processes and possibly inject technology, which is, of course, what we do, to be able to offset some of those lower touch stuff so that you can focus on the higher end things. And that's how you win.
And I think that this is such an important conversation. I was actually like, how cool I am. I was looking at statistics about the insurance industry and talent, because it's February, which is Insurance Careers Month. So I like saw an article that was like a bunch of facts about it.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
It is. See, this is how cool I am. I'm giving you these fun facts about life. And one of them, though, that like really struck me is that like the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics predicts that there's going to be at least 50,000 producer jobs created every year, but there wasn't anything on like the servicing or CSR side. Yeah. And if we've got that big of a gap on the sales side, what does that gap look like on the servicing side if that's where we're feeling the pain? And how many jobs are there out there that need to be filled? And how do we get creative about the combination of people and technology and trying to solve this problem? I mean, we could have a whole different conversation about like recruiting. But again, to your point, like retaining is a big challenge here too. And it's a problem that's probably not going to go away unless we take a different approach to how we go about combating it. And so I really appreciate you kind of sharing some of your thoughts about what you're seeing in the market and kind of a different approach for people to take moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally the number one problem that agencies have right now that they don't talk about, because there has traditionally been not a solution. It's like, go headhunt more people, try to get them in, replace the ones that might leave, keep going. One other thing I will mention, and something that we did at our agency that was successful, is if you have brand new producers coming into the business and you want to train them, start them on service. Like that is a great way to not only allow them to have a healthy respect for what the service team, has to deal with on a regular basis, but it also kind of throws them right into the fire of like, you got to learn this stuff. Like this is stuff that you need to know. It helps them start talking coverage and, understand what their clients are going to be asking post-sale. That was a great thing for us. And then once they're ready, you can migrate them over to sales. So that is a kind of a hack that we did.
Yeah, that cross-train breeds better culture probably internally, but then also kind of helps fill a little bit of a need as you're working through people and giving them like a career path moving forward as well.
And see what they're made of, because if you can make it on service, you can make it on sales.
Your skin is tough enough.
Another animal, man. I have so much respect for account managers. It's tough. So.
Well, thank you for joining me for the conversation, Ryan. If you're not already, make sure that you give Ryan a follow on LinkedIn, and certainly let either one of us know if you've got any questions. But otherwise, thanks for joining me and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Leading Change. If you liked what you saw, be sure to subscribe and come back weekly for more expert interviews on digital transformation, change management, and emerging technologies.